Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome. And thank you for attending this YOL Intelligence live market briefing dedicated to the advanced packaging market. My name is Faisal El Kamasi. I'm Global Sales Coordination and Customer Support Manager for YOL Group. Based on how advanced packaging market monitor, the aim of this live market briefing is to provide you in 30 minutes an update of the major packaging players and their investments of more than 1/3 of the packaging market value in the last 2 years. How technology and market analyst in semiconductor, memory, and computing division at YOL Intelligence, Gabriela Pereira, will provide a snapshot of the overall market, mega trends and investment for packaging, and a few of the major market trends extracted from the YOL's highlight details, Advanced Packaging Market Monitors 2022 Q1 and Q2 edition. Before we get started, I remind you that you are encouraged to submit questions to our analysts during all the live events using the Ask a Question window at the bottom of the screen. Question will be answered right after the presentation. In case we don't have the time to answer all of them, we will follow up with you by email. To conclude, this live event is recorded. You will receive tomorrow an email with the link to access the recorded session. So let's start the webcast and welcome Gabriela. Gabriela, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Faisal, for your introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriela Pereira, and I will now present this live market briefing on advanced packaging. During this live market briefing, we will try to answer the question, will advanced packaging momentum keep growing amid supply disruption? So I will bring up topics like semiconductor demand fluctuations, current supply constraints, and its impact in the advanced packaging market. During this presentation, I will firstly do a short description of the advanced packaging platforms analyzed at YOL. Then I will speak about the main advanced packaging trends, drivers, and applications, how semiconductor industry dynamics is impacting the OSAT industry, packaging Capex highlights, top packaging players and how they are ranked, and finally, the advanced packaging revenue by platform. So there are several ways we can classify advanced packaging technologies, and this classification is not always consensual in the industry. Here, when we speak about advanced packaging, we will be referring on one side to technologies that do not utilize an IC substrate, namely fan-out and wafer-level chip-scale packaging, or fan-in, and also flip-chip technologies using organic substrates, such as flip-chip BGA, flip-chip CSP, fan-out on substrate, 2.5D, and 3D technologies. The advanced packaging market is set to keep growing, and it will be driven by mega trends like 5G and mobile, ADAS, vehicle electrification, AI, machine learning, data center, HPC, cloud computing, IoT, and cryptocurrency. There are several system requirements. These mega trends are moving the semiconductor industry, and they are pushing for more demanding system requirements. There is a need for more computing power, more bandwidth, lower latency, lower power, more functionality, higher integration, more memory, and lower cost. And this can be applied for various devices, including CPUs, GPUs, SoCs, APUs, FPGAs, ASICs, and others. Well, technology node scaling is no longer the only semiconductor driver, and advanced packaging is becoming crucial for semiconductor innovation, adding functionality and improving performance while lowering the cost, and also contributing for miniaturization. These needs can be addressed by different packaging technologies, and the application requirements will help define the best choice of packaging. As a consequence, each of the packaging platforms, for instance, fan-out, fan-in, system-in-package, flip chip, and 2.5D and 3D, are currently being used for distinct applications for different reasons, as they can address distinct needs. So what is happening now in the semiconductor industry? The semiconductor industry continues to observe short-term imbalances and disruptions in the supply chain. The industry megatrends of 5G, electrical vehicles, and ADAS and HPC-related applications, as well as the higher silicon content in many end devices, are contributing for a long-term demand growth. At the same time, in 2022, the economy continues to be affected heavily by COVID-19 pandemic, by the lasting supply constraints across several sectors, by geopolitical issues, including Russia and Ukraine war, and increase in global price inflation. So meanwhile, consumer electronics market demand is slowing down. And in 2022, demand is softer for devices like smartphone, PC, laptops, tablets, and also other end systems. All of this is somehow affecting the advanced packaging market. On one side, there is a growth in advanced packaging demand, and in 2022, the market growth will be mainly propelled by automotive, 5G, and HPC-related applications. The automotive market is being driven not only by the shortage catch-up and increased demand, but also by the increased silicon content in vehicles, also related to its electrification. In data centers, the introduction of AI is driving investments in HPC, utilizing the latest silicon nodes with advanced packaging technologies. Also, heterogeneous integration and chiplet trends are moving advanced packaging forward. On another hand, packaging players, mainly OSATs, are facing some challenges. Because of COVID-19 lockdowns and mitigation policies in China and Taiwan, OSATs based in these countries saw a decreased manufacturing efficiency, and across the world, the effects were felt through constrained raw materials, equipment, and other component supply. Material shortage continued to be a problem for packaging companies, namely for wafers, lead frames, and substrates. And on another hand, materials cost is also increasing, and some OSATs are being forced to adjust prices. For instance, the substrate shortage is expected to extend for another 2 to 3 years and has been affecting heavily the advanced packaging supply chain. This shortage is mainly driven by 3 factors. So first, the technological trend. So clearly there is an increase in demand of advanced packaging technologies which require laminate substrates. And these are, for example, flip chip PGA, fan-out on substrate, and 2.5D and 3D packaging. Also, apart from that, package sizes are increasing, as well as the number of substrate layers in the package. Then there is also increased demand for devices requiring laminate substrates, like CPU, GPU, ASICs, and FPGAs for PC, networking, and data center applications. On top of that, supply chain disruption related to COVID-19 and all the supply constraints I've been speaking about, they are also impacting the shortage. All of this seems to have a different impact on different companies, depending if we are speaking about bigger or smaller OSATs, for instance. While leading OSATs such as AZ, Amkor, PTI, and JSET are sustaining a healthy growth as they profit from strong demand, from IDM outsourcing and long-term agreements with their customers, smaller OSATs may be heavily affected due to increased depreciation, lower capacity utilization, and raw materials cost inflation, and might see its capacity utilization fall in the second half of 2022. Among all these current supply chain disruptions, companies and governments continue to increase its investments in the semiconductor industry, and regional independence in chip manufacturing is becoming a crucial trend. Governments are subsidizing or funding semiconductor businesses to secure the regional supply, overcome capacity problems, and reinforcing research and development capacity. Among these investments, we can emphasize, for instance, the US CHIPS Act, which is injecting $52 billion for domestic funding. Also in the US, American companies like Intel and Amkor are also investing a lot. Intel is announcing more investments for semiconductor and packaging manufacturing facilities. And Amkor, although all its investments so far are in Asia, they are planning and considering a possible manufacturing site in the US. In Europe, the European Chips Act comprises an investment of more than 43 billion euros up until 2030. The Spanish government also announced a big investment for semiconductor industry, and meanwhile, Intel is in talks with Germany to build a semiconductor megafab and with Italy for the construction of a packaging plant. In Asia, there are some very big investments announcements for the governments. We need to emphasize the outstanding investment from South Korean government, which is planning to spend $451 billion in the next decade for semiconductor production domestically. Also, China announced to spend $150 billion over the next 10 years. Indian government approved the $10.2 billion investment, and also the Japanese government is expected to subsidize $3.46 billion for TSMC's plant with Sony Group in Japan. So now, speaking more specifically on advanced packaging investments. Well, we see that advanced packaging is driving unprecedented investment levels, and these investments keep growing. In 2021, total Capex from packaging is expected to reach around $16 billion, which is 34% higher than the previous year, more or less, and it represents about 40% of the advanced packaging revenues expected for the year. So it's a lot, right? Intel and TSMC remain as the top Capex contributors as they keep investing in new advanced packaging sites. And this is mainly for 3D packaging developing and hybrid bonding technology. Third place is covered by AZ, who will keep supporting a strategic alliance with TSMC. Yole is following closely the top 30 OSAT revenues, as well as companies from other business models like TSMC, Intel, and Samsung, who are performing strongly in advanced packaging. Regarding packaging revenues, we observe that the top 10 players took about 80% of the market in 2021. AZ with Spill continued to dominate the packaging market revenues with $11.6 billion revenue, followed by Amkor, which achieved $6 billion for the year. Intel kept its third position in the ranking, followed by JCET, TSMC, Samsung, PTI, Tongfu, Huaxin, and UTAC. When it comes to the year-on-year revenue growth, we observe that 2021 faced a greater growth compared with 2020, with top growing OSATs being mainly Chinese, which is indicating how much the Chinese companies are investing in this business. For instance, For Hope showed 178% growth in revenues, and China Resources Microelectronics showed a 144% growth. Now, if we look closer into the Chinese OSAT ecosystem, we see that the three leaders, so JCET with 49%, Tongfu with 20%, and Huaxin with 16% of the market shares, they are by far the market leaders in the country and are also part of the world top 10 OSATs. Overall, Chinese OSATs are mainly focused on mid-end advanced packaging platforms, like, for example, flip chip and wafer level packaging and system in package. And they are also targeting higher end technologies, like ultra high density fan-outs, 2.5D and 3D for the future. And this is especially for the top three players. Now, let us take a look at the advanced packaging revenues by platform. The advanced packaging market reached nearly $32 billion in 2021, and it's expected to grow at a 9.65% CAGR, reaching $56 billion in 2027. So it appears that COVID-19 did not have such an adverse impact on the advanced packaging market. In 2021, the advanced packaging market increased almost 20%, driven by the aggressive post-pandemic semiconductor demand. In 2022, demand is expected to normalize, and we estimate a 12% growth of the advanced packaging market. When it comes to the packaging platforms, the biggest market share here belongs to flip chip CSP and flip chip BGA technologies, while the highest revenue growth is belonging to 2.5D and 3D type of technology, showing a 14% CAGR between 2021 and 2027. These 2.5D and 3D technologies include technologies such as CIS, embedded silicon bridge, silicon interposer, 3D stack memory, and 3D SoC technology using hybrid bonding. These technologies are being moved by data center, networking, HPC, and autonomous driving applications. So now let us go for the conclusions. If we try to answer the question, will advanced packaging momentum keep growing amid supply disruption? Then the answer is yes. It is understood that global economy continues to be affected by COVID-19 pandemic, by geopolitical issues, by Russian and Ukrainian war and increased inflation, and this is affecting the semiconductor supply chain, including the packaging industry. There are still key bottlenecks in OSAT industry related to supply disruption due to COVID-19 lockdowns and mitigation policies, materials cost increase, and material shortages, mostly substrate and lead frames. But on another hand, advanced packaging demand is still increasing, and the market growth is mainly propelled by automotive, 5G, and HPC related applications, and it's moved by heterogeneous integration and chiplet trends. Amid the current supply chain disruption, governments are making big investments in the semiconductor industry, and top advanced players are investing around $16 billion in 2022. Finally, the advanced packaging market revenue reached $32 billion in 2021 and will keep growing in the next years, reaching $56 billion in 2027. So thank you very much. We reached the end of this live market briefing.
Thank you very much, Gabriela. This is a very interesting presentation and great conclusion. We are now receiving a lot of questions, many questions that are about to be answered now. So let's see for the first question, Gabriela. What are the application moving fan-out technology revenue growth, and who are the market leaders?
Okay. Well, the type of fan-out packaging growing the most in terms of revenues is ultra-high density fan-out. And this is being more and more adopted mainly in applications like processors, ASICs, and other chips. And this is mainly for networking and data center applications. And in this case, as of today, at least, the biggest players are TSMC with its info line product line, and also AZ with its Focus product line, so fan-out chip on substrate. And on another hand, high-density fan-out technology will also grow in market shares as the adoption of fan-out POP technology is growing, and this is for mobile and consumer application processors. Here, the biggest players are TSMC with its Info POP package, which is adopted in Apple smartphones and smartwatches, tablets, etc. And also there is Samsung using this technology in its smartwatch application processors. So these are the ones that are going to grow faster, I guess. But fan-out will also continue to be used in lower density applications. And these are PMIC, RF, for example. But the revenue growth is more steady and it's a more mature technology. And in this case, top OSATs like AZ, like Amkor and JSETs, they are the ones leading the market.
Okay, thank you for this reply. A time maybe for another question. For which packaging platforms are top players investing the most?
Okay, so it really depends on the players we are speaking about. So if we speak about TSMC, Intel, and Samsung, they are definitely investing more in the most advanced technologies like 2.5D and 3D packaging type. They keep strongly investing in 3D stacking and also hybrid bonding technology, for instance. And TSMC is actually investing a lot in its 3D fabric platform, and this includes Info and CoWoS product lines, and also 3D SOIC. So these players are definitely the ones moving high-end packaging by leveraging both their front-end and back-end capabilities. Then, if we speak about OSATs like AZ and Amcor or JSET, we also see some big investments being made to enlarge its product portfolio. And this is mainly in fan-out, flip chip, and SiP, but we also see lots of development towards 2.5D and 3D kind of technology.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer. The live market briefing is now ending. Thank you again, Gabriela, for your time and analysis. To everyone, you will soon receive an email with the link to the presentation within 24 hours. Feel free to share the presentation with colleagues. Finally, please let me remind you that you can find all our reports, tracks, and monitors on our website, www.yolgroup.com. Do not hesitate to contact us if you have additional questions. You can find our contact details on the last slide of the presentation. Thank you all for joining us today. Have a good day and take care.